Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Ludney and welcome to truksenvrak. Today we're going to talk about real estate. So I'm very excited about this topic, as you know if you watch my previous videos and stuff like that. And today I think it was really important for me to talk about things that you need to do before you start looking for a house to buy. So those things that I'm talking about today are based on my own experience, and those are other things that I've done and I think people need to do when you're thinking of buying a house. So number one is to evaluate your finances. So what does that mean? It means that you need to look at your credit score to see how low it is, and to evaluate to see like how much you can pay, how much your income is, and what type of house you can really buy, you know. So I have my notes here or whatever, so I'm gonna be looking at this. One second. So yeah, the first thing you need to do is to evaluate your finances, which means that you need to look at your credit score. So if you never do that, you need to go to just Google credit score. There's a lot of different company that does it. There's Borrow Well, there's any other company that does Equifax also does that, so you can check Borrow Well, Equifax, or you can ask the government to send you your credit score if you want to do that way. So that way you know if it's below 700 that you need to fix it to make it close to 700 or more if that's possible for you. So that is the first thing you need to do. And also by looking at your finances, you also need to look at your income. So let's say you're making $50,000 a year or more, you need to check to see how much you are really making and how much can you afford. So that is the first thing that I think you need to do. And the second thing is you need to check what type of house you want to buy, because your credit amount of money that you're gonna need is gonna be based on the type of house you want to buy. So if you want to buy a plex, you're gonna get income from it because you're gonna be renting some part of it out. That's a different, because it's a different calculus, I'll say. And if you want to buy, like, let's say a family home that you're the only one's gonna live in, so that's why it's really important to check out to see what type of house you want. So after knowing the type of house you want, if you want to buy a plex or, like I said, a family house, it's also a good idea to check the place, the part of the city that you want to buy your house in. Do you want to buy your house, let's say in Montreal, or do you want to go to Laval, Longueuil, or a different place to buy a house? Because the type of house you're gonna get there, it's gonna be depending on where it is located. Because in Montreal it's a little bit expensive, and it's more expensive than if you go to Laval or Longueuil. And even inside of Montreal, if you wanna live in like Montreal, it's way more expensive than if you want to live in Argent. Even though it's not, it's more expensive, let's just put it that way. If you want to live in Argent, or if you want to live in like Park Extension or other places in Montreal, you know, that could be a little bit more affordable, but not that affordable anymore. Montreal is just expensive as a whole, so keep that in mind. So I think it's really, really important, because before you even go to the bank, it's really important to know like what type of house and where, because they're gonna ask you where you want to buy your house, because they're gonna give you money based on that, from what I've seen. So number 3, before you go to the bank, yet again, you need to start saving. So if you know, in Montreal you can buy a house, I think in Canada as a whole, you can buy a house with only 5% of the amount that the house is worth. So let's say you're buying a house for 500,000, no, not 500,000, let's say 400,000, which means that you need 20,000 to buy that house. But if you are someone who have more income and a little bit more patience, but maybe you want to have 10%, because if you have 10%, there's a lot of advantages, like you might not be needing an insurance for the amount of the money that you're gonna borrow than if you only have 5%. That's something also you're gonna need to look at. So if you, let's say you want to buy your house after 2 or 3 years of saving, so you need to choose if you're gonna save with like a year I'll put the English equivalent over here because I forget the name of it. Let me just pause and check. So it's called a REER or RRSP, which is like a registered retirement saving plan that the government gives you like 50% of like a benefits tax. So let's say I'm putting some amount of money on my REER, I'm probably putting 50% less than what I'm actually putting in it. So I don't want to explain the whole thing. Just go to the government site and you can see it, and also call your bank if you want to set one up with them. But you need to decide if you want to do that or if you want to go for like another type of saving account. So those are the two things that you need to do. And for the 2 or 3 years, you need to be really consistent, because being consistent with your savings is gonna really help you save really faster and more. And after doing that, then yes, now you can I would say, before you go to the bank, just as number 4, get yourself a real estate agent. So I think the way to do it is you can go online and find one, but it might be better if you find if a family member or friend had one before and they recommend someone that they know that they dealt with, so that way you know what to expect. But if you don't want to do that, just go check any real estate agent online. There's a lot of different websites and services, but you need a good one, because if you have a good one, you're gonna get a better deal, and they're gonna look for a house for you really more than if it's just someone like that doesn't care or whatever. So I think that's why it's really important. And number 5, and the final thing, is to go to your bank. And go to your bank, and they will let you know, probably like if you save already 10% or 5%, they will let you know how much they are willing to give you. And that way, like, because that's why it was, I don't know if it was important to go first. You can go first when you go and to create your account saving, because that way they will let you know like how much they can ever give you based on your income. But I think like you can do it after saving also, because I've done it after saving, and there's not a lot of difference, as long as you know what you want and how much you are willing, like the type of house you are willing to buy and how much you are willing to go up for. You can save without going to the bank first. But like you can, like I said, you can do it before or after, but I've done it after. You go to the bank, and now you have your real estate agent, and you go to the bank, so you can see how much the bank is willing to give you. And yeah, that way you can also get pre-approved by the bank for an amount of money that then you guys can start looking for a house. But that's not all that you need to do, because you also need, I don't know if I said that before, but when you're saving, don't just save the 5 or the 10%. You need to also save like a 2% more, because there's gonna be like money you're gonna have to pay to other people. There's gonna be money you pay to get someone to check the house for you to see if there's any damage or anything like that. So you need money for that also. And you might need, I think 2 or 3%. It's a good amount, because you might have to check different houses and pay multiple times before you get the house that you really want. So those are the things that I think are really important to do before you're ready to buy a house. I don't know if I put them in the right order, but it's not a question of order. It's just the things that you need to do before you get ready to buy a house. So, but there's things that you need to know also that doesn't have anything to do with the amount of money, anything like that. Because even if you're ready, you have the amount, the bank is pre-approve your loan and everything, okay? You're ready to look, you're finding housing. There are a lot of things that are out of your control, because depending on the time, right now we are at a pandemic, you know, there's COVID-19 everywhere, whatever, and things are rough, the economic, I mean. But the housing market doesn't seem to understand the whole issue with pandemic, okay? Because people are buying house really more. I think it's because of the interest rate, it's not really high, so maybe that allow a lot of people to be ready to buy houses. I don't know why, but because if someone put a house in the market, let's say for 500,000, right, they might sell it for more than that, like 10% more, maybe 550, maybe 530. They might sell it for a lot of money. Like I've seen people putting houses like for 500,000, and the government said, like, let's say the city of Montreal said this house is worth 350, they put it for 500,000, they still sell it for more. And I don't know how that's possible. Like that's why I'm like, sometimes I think the market doesn't understand reality. Okay, so those are the things that you need to look for, because they are out of your control. You won't be able to control like if you get a house or not, because the price might go up. You don't know when to really negotiate the price. That's why a real estate agent is really key on helping you find a house. And even if everything is good, an inspector coming in, you know, to inspect the house, to see if everything fine, you might find things that you wasn't expecting, and even that the owner doesn't know, and now you might need more money to renovate. All of the things are the things that you might need. You might need to borrow to renovate a house, so you need to keep all of that in mind when you're really trying to buy a house. So I hope this video was helpful to some of you who are new and who are looking for a house. Hopefully I told you something, or you learned something throughout this video. And yeah, that was it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and see you next time.